Welcome to Ngosti Talk Shows. Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Challenges we have had to overcome in 2020.
Find your own voice.
The world has become united by the unseen, knowing there are no guarantees for tomorrow.
Lead from within. Find your own voice. Let the world hear your voice and be filled within.
For the day has come for you to be a great leader.
The time has come to break away from the pain, distraction, experience the unthinkable.
Welcome to Ngosti Talk Shows, everyone. If it is your first time at Ngosti Talk Shows, we talk about all different subjects from all walks of life. My name is Nomsa Clara Mnide. With me today is Carol Ann Cooper and Amanda Murray. Over to you, Carol Ann. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Lovely, thank you, Nomsa. And good afternoon from London, UK. And as the writing facilitator, what I do is I support women in becoming more productive with their writing. But more importantly, they experience free-flowing writing. They experience an unlocking of the writer within and getting their story written, because you cannot publish what isn't written. And all of this has come about through my own journey of unlocking the writer within. So I'm Carol Ann, the writing facilitator. Amanda, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Amanda Cottrell. I am a teacher, an author, and an illustrator, and I help people find their creative capacities within themselves, because I believe we are all creative and we all have unique gifts to share, and you can really empower your life when you just start to utilize those gifts and get them out to the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Amanda. So our topic today is how you can start your life doing tiny steps each and every day, and to achieve the goals that you want. And Amanda, you chose this topic. Please, can you explain to our audience why you chose this topic, to actually how you can start to shift your life by doing tiny steps each day? So I'm sure there's something that you've done that motivated you to actually be, wow, I'm going to share this with the audience.
Yeah, I have exciting news. My latest book is up on Amazon, and it's called A Better Tomorrow Starts Today. And it is a book for kids, and it's it gets them to question what tiny steps they can take each day within themselves and within their schools to make a better tomorrow. And so if we start today, we can do tiny steps each and every day to empower ourselves and our schools and the community and the world, because you never know what the ripple effect will be when you start to take tiny steps to make your world better. And so that is the reason why I picked this topic. I also believe, and I started a course about a month and a half ago, it's called Unblock Yourself. And it helps me to really be accountable to myself and to take tiny steps each day to reach towards my goals. And so one of the tiny steps was to keep doing the illustrations each day and to then get my book up on Amazon. And it's my 9th book, so I'm super excited about that. But also tiny steps in whatever direction it is. So if you're a writer like Carol Ann, maybe it's that you set aside 30 minutes each and every day to write. Or if you would like to draw, maybe it's just setting aside 30 minutes every day to draw, or whatever it is that you're trying to reach, this like mountain goal that you don't know how to get to. You just have to do like, okay, what's the tiny step I can do today? What's another tiny step I can do today? Is it sending an email? Is it making a phone call? Is it making Instagram posts or a social media post. Like one of the things I've been trying to do is post on social media every day, because I went for like a year and a half with hardly ever posting anything, because I was just in this funk of not doing things that are helping me achieve my goals. And so I think there's definitely, if you write down the goals the night before, it helps me so much. Some people write them down in the morning to make sure that they do them, but I'm not a morning person. So I like to write everything down at night because I'm much more of a night owl. But that definitely can help, because then you go back and you're like, oh, what is it that I was supposed to do? Oh yeah, okay, check that off, and go to the next thing and then check that off. And I've been writing down 6 things that I need to do each and every day to get to my next goal and make my world a better place. And just checking those off is so satisfying. All right. Anybody else have some comments on my topic for today?
Yeah, I love it. What you're saying, Ed, being able to tick off is really satisfying. And I, like you, am more sort of a night person. So writing down the night before, what do I want to get done the next day, works for me better than in the morning. But again, it's everybody's choice. So it is really understanding yourself, how you work best, and listen to what other people suggest, but maybe try it on. But don't beat yourself up if it doesn't work for you. It's finding what works for you best. And I think sometimes that's the problem, is we attempt to do things that people have suggested and then wonder why it's not working, and make ourselves wrong, make them wrong. Excuse me. But it's not about making anything wrong. It's about realizing, well, okay, that didn't work for me. How can I make it work for me? Or what does work for me? And again, it's been able to tick off, well, okay, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. And each time you tick something off as a no, you get closer to a yes. And you can then find your best way of working. And certainly taking tiny steps is the best way. Or it's a way that gets you past that procrastinating and putting it off, because it doesn't seem so huge. I always remember that question about how do you eat an elephant? You know, it's like one small bite at a time. Because I mean, it's huge. I thought, well, I don't know, but quite simple. One small piece at a time. And so it is recognizing just a little bit at a time. And I found a lovely Chinese proverb. The man who removes a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. And I just thought, well, that was a beautiful image. You know, this huge mountain, you look at it and think, oh my God, how can I move this? You just start one small thing at a time. So remove one small stone at a time. Something a bit bigger next time. But it is just step by step. And I found that it helps you then get into a habit. And it's maybe just select one thing, one small step that you want to repeat. And then you can bring something else in afterwards. So for me, I've had this, I had a list of things that I need to do on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, or on a weekly basis, for posting and marketing and building my group, nurturing my group. And I'm going, oh my God, I just kept looking at it. And then when I just thought, you know what, let's just take one thing. So I just took one thing out of that list and I started doing it regularly each day. And then I took the next thing and I started doing that as well. And at first it used to take me ages, because I'd be fidgeting and I'd be doing and think about it. But now I can do both those things in 10 minutes. And it's become a habit. It feels wrong now that I don't do those things. because they are quick and easy. And the difference that I've noticed over the last, I think it's about 2 months that I've been doing it now, is huge. I feel like something is beginning to move. I'm feeling like, oh, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can now move on to the next step to add in. And yeah, that's another step again. It's like, okay, I'm working on it. But again, it's maybe what out of that step could I break down into smaller steps and maybe just do a bit at a time with that. So I love this topic. It is literally bit by bit. And it's what it does, it allows your whole being to feel as if, oh, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do this. Rather than just this fighting, putting off and, oh no way, can't do that. So yeah, great topic, great idea. What about you, Nomsa? What were your thoughts?
I love the topic of basically changing your life step by step. I think it's amazing. And I like Amanda when you say, write down your goals and tick them off once you've achieved them. And when you tick them off, it's about giving yourself credit. And when you give yourself credit, you want to do more for yourself because you're being grateful that you had the courage to do those small steps. It doesn't matter how big they are or how small they are. So, but what matters is you had the courage to get up in the morning and do what you got to do while some people are sleeping. So you have to give yourself credit. And Carol Annie said, find what works for you. Create a strategy that works for you because we are all different. So when you listen to the speakers or anyone, just create your own, basically your own strategy plan that is going to work best on you. There are some people that, like you were saying, that when you listen to someone, you try to create the same thing and you end up getting frustrated because it doesn't work. Because it worked for that person, it doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. So if you have children, so you have to create a strategy based on your lifestyle and your environment, but without any excuse. So you can't make any excuses and say, I have kids, I have this. So the reason why we create goals is we have to work around ourselves and taking step by step. Like Amanda, she chose this topic to say, listen, you don't have to step big and start big. You don't have to do that. You can start if you want to lose weight. Start by going for a walk. I've seen people that goes for a walk for an hour or 30 minutes. They'll be like, if I'm going running, they'll be like, oh, I only go for walks. It's like to them, it's nothing. So I'm like, half an hour, going for a walk, even 10 minutes, it's something. Just give yourself credit for just doing that. So basically, this topic, basically, it shows that you don't have to aim big from the beginning. You can aim big, you create goals, but you have to take step by step. But if you have bad days, creating those goals or trying to achieve something, it is okay to have bad days. That is part of it. It comes with it. I go running myself. When it's raining, you will hear everyone in the house, they're like, you're going running, would you like a lift? I'm like, what's the point of me going running if you're going to give me a lift? Or sometimes I'm going for a walk. I like when it rains, I love going running in the rain because that means I'm going to run fast and get back home. So I don't, when I see the rain, I can't say I'm not going out today. So it's something that is part of my plan, basically my strategy, that at this time I'm going running or I'm going to do exercises or I'm going to do this when I want to achieve this. The beautiful part of it is once you've created a strategy and you're doing it consistently, you don't have to worry about it anymore. you can just get on with it. You just have to make sure you're not doing the same thing over and over. You have to do different things for you to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So over to you, Amanda.
I'd just like to actually say to Amanda, congratulations on getting your book published out there. I know, what it's taken for you to do that, and it's been a while in the making. So well done for picking it up again and seeing it through. And, you've done smart. Who knew that you'd now be here, 9th book when you first started? And it's like you've done book by book by book. And each one it's just appeared. And now we're here, you've got 9 books. That's amazing. So well done, Amanda.
Well done, Amanda. Congratulations. So it's really amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited because this is I think my best one yet. But I also, like, when I first started writing a children's book, when I first got the idea to write my first book, which was called It's Okay to Feel, my plan was just to have one book in my classroom and to make it on my Mac and print it on my Mac, and I would have my book in my classroom and I would use it when I wanted to. But then I met other people and I connected with other people who taught me how to publish on Amazon and how to upload my books to Amazon and all of those steps. And it's like, if someone had told me when I first had the book idea, oh, you need to do this and this and this and get it on Amazon and do this marketing, I would have been like, whoa, you're overwhelming me completely and I don't know how to do that. But I just took little steps each and every day and slowly got to a place that wasn't even my original goal. My original goal was just to illustrate the book and have it in my classroom, and my goal shifted as I started down that journey and down that path. And now my next goal is to write a book. It's called Unschooled, Rethinking What It Means to Be Educated. And there's a bunch of different people who will collaborate with me, and it'll be a collaborative book. And it will have all these stories of people who have succeeded in life despite the traditional school system. Because even though I'm a teacher, I think that there's so many restrictions within the curriculum and within what we have to teach and how we learn, and it doesn't shine light on the gifts that our students have, and it like stifles their creativity because we're so narrow into what we can teach. And I think that especially with the internet and with so many different aspects on how you can be creative, that's something that we really need to bring into the schools, or even start a completely different system where people follow their passions from a very young age and are introduced to passionate people who have passions, not teachers who just teach, who know a little bit about all these different things. People who actually have like gone through different things to be an expert in their field, and you have the access to experts, people who are experts in their field, at the tip of your fingers at any given moment with your cell phone. And so teachers need to now, instead of teach, they need to like facilitate the learning, right? Because kids can learn on their own. You don't need to teach them teach them specifically. You need to like facilitate their learning and drive them to become passionate about learning something. And I think that's something that really needs to shift. So that's my next goal, is to get this next book written by the end of the summer, and then hopefully have it out in the fall. So yeah, that's like
exciting.
tiny steps each and every day, right? Is to reach out and connect with people. I've been connecting with a bunch of different entrepreneurs to ask if they'd like to write a chapter to my book, and I've been working for 30 minutes most days, not every day, because I've been self-publishing my other book and doing some other things, but I've been working on my chapter of the book, and I did an interview with someone, so I need to work on their chapter of the book. And so just little steps each and every day. Maybe it's like making 5 phone calls for your business, or it's making like looking up and researching different people who've done what you want to do, and what you have this like little spark of inspiration in your brain. okay, well, who can I research that's already done something similar to this, and how can I tweak it to be uniquely me?
Absolutely. And I love what you're saying about this shift from teaching to facilitating. Children are coming with, they've got different skills, different ways of learning, and it's not about teaching, it is about empowering a learner to be a learner, rather than just someone that just soaks in and does what they're told to do. It is about being more resourceful, and I think our children are much more resourceful these days than we give them credit for, or that we allow them to be as well. And that's where you sometimes get this tension, you know. So it's certainly allowing more creativity is important, because I remember when my eldest granddaughter first went to school, I noticed how her creativity got stifled. You know, conversations that we used to have, just playing around, and she'd be in the bath and I'd be sat next to her, sitting on the toilet seat next to her, just talking with her, and we'd be playing and just creating. And I'd write something on my hand and she'd pretend to read it, and she'd do the same and I pretend to read it, and we had fun. When she went to school, something shifted. It was like, oh, what do I write? You know, it just went, and then it took a while and to bring it back in again each time. So I certainly remember thinking, wow, where's your creativity gone? You know, so certainly that would be a great book to write about, or bring ideas in and open up the conversation. But it is, I think it is taking those little steps. It's like when you get to you climb a mountain, very often you get to the top of it and you realize, well, actually it's not the top, there's another one there, or there's a whole new horizon opens up. And so by taking these steps, having conversations, you never know what might just open up, what other thoughts come to you. Whereas if you just sit and hold on to it, it's just stillness. That creativity doesn't really flow, and it can only go as far as you allow it to in that, or you're able to. But conversations open it up. Taking action spurs a thought, and then another thought. It is amazing, and I'm always amazed by it. And even though there are times when I'm sitting and I forget, when I do then take that first action, and it's like this, like the other day, yesterday, I finally reached out to somebody, sent a message that I've been putting off doing a few weeks now. I sent the message and I got a reply, and it's opened up a whole nother conversation of possibility. Because, okay, what I was asking doesn't really fit with her, but she said, let's have a conversation, because I know there's other things we can do to help move you forward or to support you. And I'm going, oh, exciting, you know. So in a few weeks' time, we'll have a conversation, because she's on holiday at the moment. So, but until I had done that, I wouldn't have known. So, and also it means that it's not on my mind. Oh, got a message, got to send that message. It's not constantly on my list and I'm repeating, putting it on there, which again, it weighs heavy because you're constantly reminded about what you haven't done. Tick, it's done. And I go, oh, I feel lighter. What next can I do? You know, so certainly it allows you to feel better. So health-wise, it has an impact. So from in a sense of making your life better, changing your life, it certainly helps you to feel better in yourself. So your well-being, your mental state improves, and you're more likely to then take more steps. Or you might go, ooh, and sit for a minute and think, and just take a breather because of shock, like sometimes I do. But then you get that motivation. Oh, okay, what next can I do? And you move forward again. And again, it's not about making wrong how you respond to it or react to it. Just recognizing what is happening for you. And then, right, asking the question, right, well, what can I do now? What's next? So, Nomsa, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you have to. I like it when you say you have to basically, until you have done something, you will never know if you would have been succeeded or what would have happened. So you have to try doing something like Amanda, um, writing your books, and you didn't know that by 2022 you will have written 9 books. Your goal basically was to write that one-off books and get excited, but you go excited and realize that actually this is my creativity. I get creative because when you're writing, basically you're communicating with yourself. You get to know yourself better. And if you're writing a book and you work with kids as well, you get inspired by children. And when you get home, you start writing your own story that you're writing based on what you are learning. And it is amazing. We start small. That's why it's very, very important to say, you know what, I'm going to start small and just step by step. I talk to so many people. You'll be surprised at how many people I talk to. That people don't achieve their goals because they never realize actually they're doing something. And you see someone, they're losing weight and they've lost a little bit, and you comment on them, oh, are you losing weight? And they're like, I am trying, but I don't think it's working. Why do you think it's working? I'm only doing this. They are not actually embracing. They're not having that excitement doing it. So what is the point of saying I'm going to lose weight if you're not going to enjoy the moment? So there's no point. To me, there's no point. If I'm losing weight, I've got to enjoy every moment. And if I was to eat the cake and losing weight, I've got to tell myself off, enjoying the moment of it, enjoying that actually I've been naughty and writing it down and making sure that I discipline myself, but having fun at the same time, because that is the part of it. And if you are making a decision not being controlled by your subconscious, so that means you make the right decisions and you will enjoy that decisions that you make. Like Amanda, I'm sure when you written your books, there was some excitement, there was some sadness part of it, but you were getting excited that okay, I'm having bad days. I didn't do what I said I would do today, but tomorrow I will do it. You make a promise to yourself. So that is the part of it, step by step, and being aware of that, the resistance. When you're doing something, there's gonna be a resistance that sometimes you will doubt yourself, but if you keep doing things repeatedly and keep going and keep doing it, you get there eventually. And baby steps are important, and having a good system. I'm sure, Carol Anna, you have a good system that support you when you are doing your, like you're going for your retreat. So you have a system that support you, and Amanda, you have a system. I have a system that supports me when I'm doing something, and the Carol Anna, you talked about the mountains. And when you are doing something, there's always going to be something that is going to appear, or problems that are going to be presented. So you're going to have to be aware of those problems. You have to leave a room for problems. For me, when I'm planning something, I write my goals in my head. I'm aware that if I'm presented with problems, I'm going to accept and raise awareness, be in the present moment. My expectations are when I'm doing something, there's going to be problems that are going to appear. Or if I'm lucky, there's not going to be any problems. But if you have expectations that whatever presents itself, I'm okay with it, I'm going to keep climbing. If I fall when I'm doing it, I will get up and I will keep going. But if you have expectations that whatever I'm doing, it will be succeeded without any problems, without any challenges, then that's when you get depressed, you get anxiety, because you don't understand that life, in order for you to climb that ladder, there's got to be a mountain in the middle, and you have to be able to be someone that is able to go through that mountain. And sometimes it might be the small mountain that is causing distractions, so you have to be able to climb it. And if you like working with you were talking about the children, that you set up a goal and with the children, and if you have that system with my children, I have a system basically that I teach them to create a timetable of studying, reading, and do this. And after I'm done, they have to do it themselves. I'm not a parent that I'm gonna be annoying. I teach you how to do things, and when I'm done, I just have to remind you. And I give them a study buddy, that make sure they have a study buddy, somebody like a teacher. I know parents, some parents are good at teaching their children, but I have enough grief with my clients. And when I come home, I don't want grief with my children, because I don't know, other children are good to allowing their parents teaching them, but my children, I like to keep that relationship of argument. If I teach them and say, listen, it's time to read, and I take a book, they take a book and read. And sometimes I put the books where they can see them. So it's just creating the habit of this is what it is. And please get rid of, if you are creating goals, get rid of social media. Just pause your social media. Make sure you time your social media, the times that you go on social media. Like Carol Anno was saying, she's able to post herself. For me, I go on social media, I post, I like my friends' post, and then I'm out. I don't need to be there. And I don't need to do, if I go on social media, I'm on LinkedIn looking for other businesses, and get rid of watching too much television, because it is good for some people, but if you really, really want to be creative and you want to reach those goals, you're gonna have to cut down on TV. I've got TV programs that I like, but they're not my priority. So I don't know, Amanda.
I agree with you. I think that one of the things that in my research for my master's, I did a whole bunch of research on being content creators versus content consumers. And if you're on social media, what is it that you're doing? Are you being a content creator? And are you sharing your gifts with the world? Or are you being a content consumer and mindlessly scrolling all the creativity that other people are doing? And I think that's something that we really need to reframe, right? Because when I was a kid, it was like, don't watch too much TV. And that's being a content consumer. But if you went out and you were doing some drawing or you were creating something, then you're being a content creator. And right now, we have the opportunity to reach the world by being content creators at our fingertips. And that's something that's never happened before in history. In order to be a worldwide content creator in the past, you had to like have the right connections and be able to get onto certain television shows or whatever. And now, like with YouTube and TikTok and all of these different things, normal random people have the ability to go viral, right? And that's something that's never happened before in history. It was those elite groups that were able to reach the masses. Whereas now that has changed. Anybody can reach the masses. Yesterday I was talking with my students about their creativity and what do they daydream about and what do they like envision themselves doing when they grow up, and we talked about like how about being creators and to do those things that you really want to do. And I had one of this, I said, like, now in history, you can be like a YouTuber, and that was never a job before. And there's people like making tons of money. There's this, what's called, I think it's called Making Fun. And it's a Netflix series that my friend was telling me about. And these people literally are getting paid to make useless things. They're like getting paid to make these toys that these kids brainstorm up, and it's a TV show. And I'm like, these people are getting paid to make something useless and they're entertaining you, but like they're making something completely useless, like a taco machine with a toilet and a farting unicorn that rides a bicycle. Like, these are completely useless things, and yet these people are following their passions of building. And now they're on Netflix, and they were like YouTube influencers, and that's how they ended up with the Netflix series. Like, you have no idea what you can accomplish if you just keep going and you be a creator. And then one of my students was like, oh, I have a YouTube channel. And so then we looked at their YouTube channel, and their 25 subscribers. Was so cute because I teach grade 5. But then my other student, she's like, my brothers have a YouTube channel. Can you look? And I actually had taught one of her brothers, and they're in their teens now. And one of their videos had over 4,000 views. And I was like, that is amazing. Like, one of my former students, I said, like, and I'm hoping that some of the like technology and video work that we did when he was in my class in grade 3, when I taught grade 3, that helped him get those steps into being a content creator, because he had so many different aspects to their video where it was like a picture and then a video and then words, and it just flowed so seamlessly. And I was like, that is so much video editing and so many skills to be able to create this, that they ultimately did it all on their own time, not in school. It wasn't an in-school project. It was like this fort that they built that they wanted to sleep in overnight. It was a snow fort because we live in Canada. So Canadian. And it was their whole journey on building this fort, and then somebody destroyed it. But it was like, yeah, they had all of these different views, and I was like, that is unbelievable that teenagers are getting thousands and thousands of views. And I know there's some that are getting millions of views on social media, and it's mind-blowing. And they didn't get there by just like posting one video. They got there by doing a tiny step today and a tiny step the next day, and even the video that they made, those teenagers that used to be in my class that I now teach their little sister, it was like weeks worth of videoing and weeks worth of building this fort to like be able to get to the point that they did. And it's just amazing the capacity that these children have on being so creative and taking the time and setting aside time to keep working on something, and it's just unbelievable. So yeah, there's so much that you can achieve, but you have to be brave enough to take that step. And I think there's definitely some kids in the world, not all of them, because I know Carol Ann spoke about how her daughter became less creative by going to school, and I 100% see that. Like, when I talked with my kids about what do they daydream about yesterday, like half of them were just stared at me like I was crazy. And I was like, no, when you're bored listening to me, or you're bored in class, like, what do you wish you were doing? I'm like, I wish I was painting or skiing. I'm like, so you have to have something else too that you're passionate about, or that you're like, oh, if I could be doing anything else in the world, what would I be doing? Would I be hiking? Would I be painting? Would I be creating? Would I be making YouTube videos? What is it? And then they started like slowly, it was painful. slowly starting to be like, oh yeah, and I love doing this and I love doing this. But it's like by grade 5, it's that pulling that creativity out of them is sometimes hard because they just want to do what you tell them. and I challenge them. I don't want you to do what I tell you. I want you to like tell me what it is that you want to pursue and switch it on them. And so yes, there are times where I want them just to listen to me and do what I say, but for the most part I want them to like expand beyond my expectations and do not what I say, but explore their creative capacities in different ways. And I think that's something that education really needs to shift to, is helping kids explore their creative capacities.
I love that phrase, expand beyond expectations, because that is it. It's like there are these expectations that children feel are put on them, and that seems to take precedent. And so actually daring to dream becomes pointless, because they're then listening to others' opinions, and well, how are you going to get to that? Because it seems so big. That question goes, well, how are you going to get to that? And it's like, I don't know. That concept of, well, maybe just take one step at a time. What could I do? And maybe that's how we could support children with big dreams, daring to dream big. Say, okay, so what's a tiny step you could take towards that right now? So you actually open up possibility rather than closing it down by, oh gosh, how are you going to do that? Because in that moment, the mind goes, I haven't got a clue, bam. You stop the dream in its tracks. And so just changing the way you approach someone's dreams or what they've shared with you is something we can all do. And actually daring to question. Yes, I agree with you, Amanda. You do want children to do at times what you've told them to do, because it is important. It has a place, and it's empowering them to question and ask questions in such a way that are not argumentative, but they're actually, it's that daring to question because I want to understand. And what, for what reason are you asking me to do this? It's rather than, well, why have I got to do this? Well, for what reason are you asking me to do this? What is it I'm going to achieve, or what is this a step towards? Questions, and teaching them to ask better questions so that they can understand and then go, okay, and then they'll and do what you've asked them to do, because there is that understanding. And sometimes, and I know with maths, because maths is it's building, and sometimes you just have to take some things on trust, because actually understanding comes later. And I learned that myself. It was like, wow, it wasn't until I did my degree in maths that I was learning some theory side of one aspect of it. And I remember thinking, wow, I understand now why that works. But I could never have understood the concept that, earlier. I just had to take something on trust. And so sometimes there is an element of, we do need to take something on trust in that moment, get used to doing it, and just be able to do it, because understanding can come later. And so this whole thrust of, they need to understand before they can do it, I question that. I do question that. So again, it is, maybe that works for some, but it doesn't work for all. And I think it's this blanket statement, we have to make it work for all. It has to be that one way of doing it for everybody. It's like when they brought in a new way of teaching to read. It was the initial teaching alphabet. I remember when I was just before I went to teach training college, they brought in this ITA system for teaching children to read, and it was great. if it was the only thing that was used, because of the letters that they had symbols for sounds, and so the words were built up with these symbols that made the sounds. And so from that aspect, it seemed better, but the problem was children couldn't make the transition, because all the books are written with our own lettering and spellings. And so actually they did a huge disservice to these children by attempting to teach them with this system. And but that was someone's great idea, so and it meant that everybody had to learn it. It doesn't always work. So yeah, it's interesting, but little bit by bit, little bit, and certainly encouraging children to question and to dream is important, and helping them to sort of go beyond procrastination. There's the kaizen way. One small step can change your life. It's a book that I've seen, and asking small gentle questions, we keep the fight-flight response in the off position. And so by taking steps so tiny that they seem trivial, you'll actually sail past obstacles that have defeated you before. And it reminded me, as I was reading that, of somebody who does, he teaches a section in one of the trainings that I support. And he does about creating a 90-day plan. And he does this amazing thought of helping you to get through past procrastination. And he says what you do is, okay, you've got this task that you're putting off. And so you just ask yourself, well, say maybe you're wanting to get started with your writing. And it's, well, can you write the first word? No. Well, could I pick up a pen? No. And you keep asking questions until you get to something that, he said sometimes he's even got down to, well, can I take a breath? And the body goes, oh yeah, okay. And once you've got that agreement, it's like, well, can I take, and you start building up again until, well, can I pick up a pen? Oh, all right then, because you're just in that safe mode. The body is, okay. Well, can I now write the first word? Okay. Can I write the first sentence? Okay. And all of a sudden things start flowing. And I loved that, I heard it's like, wow, literally taking it back to something where the body goes, oh, all right then, yes, I can do that. And you've got that agreement and you can then move forward. So that's just one way, is just taking it down to something that does seem quite trivial, but your body is in agreement. It feels safe. And that fight-flight system is switched off. And it's like, okay, yeah, I can take that. So again, think about that, just ask yourself, well, could I do this? And what's the smaller step? And what's the smaller step? And what's the smaller step? Until you can take that step. And then what's the next step? And then what's the next step? So certainly keep taking small steps, because they actually then create valuable habits that help us to achieve these huge goals. And it is over time that a huge goal is like you turn around and you go, oh my goodness, it's happened. How did that happen? And it's amazing. So it's just, again, trusting the process, following guidelines, and just saying, well, what can I do? Little bit by little bit, and having a system. Certainly have a system that supports you. I think that's the important thing, is it's a system that supports you, one that works for you. And yeah, so what systems, I wonder, do you have, Amanda? Do you have, Nomsa? You got systems that support you?
With social media, I do social media. There's some things that I do it myself. Social media, I basically had a meeting when I started my business with this woman. Uh, Quite more than one person, and loads of people are managing my social media. And I ask questions because I like asking questions. If you say you're going to charge me £500 for Instagram, what are you going to do on Instagram? And they told me this is what I'm going to do. After I've had the conversation with quite a few people, and I was like, I can't pay £500 for this. This is something I can sit on my bed, got up for 15 minutes, and then I can do this. So I was like, I need to have a system. So what I do is I create loads of content and I set it all up and keywords, make sure that everything is set up and photos, and just copy and paste it every morning. I sit on my bed before my prayer or after, and then I I basically do it, and then I have someone that actually runs. I do the posting, and I have someone that actually runs my social media to bring traffic to my social media, and that is the system that I have, because that one I did some research. Social media is very, very, very complicated. And so I knew that I couldn't do that. So I needed someone that has a proper system. So I use Footstool for my social media, and they bring traffic. They basically, you look at your role models like Tony Robbins and the other speakers and stuff, like companies that you like and you want to follow. So you follow those people, or like footballers or whatsoever, the different companies and the musicians. So what they do is they would drag the traffic from those people that you're following, and they'll be showing your company until it is annoying, like pop-ups. Like if I want to go on social media and Amanda keeps popping up, and then I'll be like, she's annoying, let me just follow her. So that's how I get people following me. And then with the business, basically I do things that I can do, and then the rest, the things that I can't do, somebody else has to do the work. And that's how I manage it. And also I have to hold myself accountable. If I go to a business event, I can't just go to a business event for fun. If I go to a business event, I go and listen. When I get home, I use those notes. I go to a business, my website or whatever, or social media, then I start creating. Or if it's the clients that I need to improve, uh, I just have to work on it. How can I improve? And then I just work. So, and I take things step by step. I never, like, if things don't go my way, I'm in the present moment. I don't blame myself. And if the system doesn't work, it doesn't work. If I don't achieve the goals that I want, I just have to change the direction. If I'm going to this direction, if I see things that are not working. And another system that I have, there's a girl that she came to me as my client, and she's a coach now, a dating coach. So she came to me as a client, and then I asked her, because I meet people. Then she told me that she was doing a dating coach, taking dating course. She paid £5,000, and she was about to pay 20 grand. And I said to her, "You're bonkers. Why are you paying all this money, but you are still the same?" So we had a word. Like I spoke to her like 5 minutes to say, "Listen, you've got to get real. And this is this," and she actually listened. So she, instead of me matching her, I said to her, "You're gonna match yourself. You're gonna go online and match yourself, because you're not gonna learn unless," because she's one of those people that are educated. She has a good job. She's a banker, a high banker, really earning good money, getting promoted every year, and living in a good house. So basically, her list of a man has to be that life. And I was like, are you bonkers? And she was like, if I go on date and I go to a man's house, if we like each other, he invites me to his house. If his standard of cleaning is not like mine, I will not date that man. I was like, are you bonkers? So you cannot date your twin. So I had to explain to her that's not how relationship works, unfortunately. So I had to explain the reality and the real world and the fantasy world. And she did listen. Actually, she meshed herself and she took Tony Robbins' coach. Now she's coaching. So I went and listened to her. She was doing this course for 2 days, and after she finished, she's like, I was surprised that you came to listen to me, and I was wondering, why would you waste your time? And I was like, why do you think I'm wasting my time? I was listening to you because I wanted to. I'm learning. Just because I've been doing this for a long time, it doesn't mean I know it all. So, and I was learning from her. I said, you have to divorce the mindset of knowing it all and just go and check other people and just listen to people. And then in that way, so I said to her, I came to listen to you for me, to give myself, to make sure that I'm doing, as a coach, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing in my own relationship, not with client. Because it's easy to actually being a coach, to do the right thing, teaching people how to do it, and it's easy to neglect yourself. So I had to explain to her, this is my system, that I go and listen to people. And Carol Ann, we did your event. And since then, I've learned to meditate, to do my brain exercises. I've learned so much. And I mean, I'm really, really enjoying this moment of doing the brain exercises. So my system basically is to do step by step the things that I can and just follow other people and learn from them, not being know-it-all.
I think that's a really common misconception that people have, is that they have to know it all before they start. And that's not the case at all. You you just need to start because you don't need to know it all. And I was saying, I actually was writing in my part of the next book that I'm working on about how I did this Minecraft task with my students, and even to this day I don't know how they did all of it because I don't know how to use Minecraft, but I showed them the videos and the instructional videos on what to do, and I said, okay, figure it out. And they loved the task, and they all made their videos and everything. I'm like, I don't know how to use PCs, I only know how to use Macs, so here's the instructional video on how to do it. Figure it out. And then a few kids figured it out, and like most teachers, like, how'd you get your kids to do that? I'm like, I don't know, I just like gave them the videos and said figure it out. And they did. And so even as a teacher, we don't have to know everything before we teach it. And I think that's such a misconception with people, is you don't need to know how to publish a book to start writing it. You just have to start writing it. And one of the things that I use to keep myself on track is I started this course that's called Thinking into Results, but also I made myself a book. And so I made it so that I could write in it every single day, and it's on Amazon, but it has, like, in the book it has today's wins, I am affirmations, what I'm grateful for, sending love to people who need a little bit of extra love, and then what I'm grateful for now, that, and then my success discipline schedule and the things that I want to achieve for the day. And then I go back each day and I check off that I've achieved them. And then I can also like schedule ahead of time, like on Wednesday I got to do this, so that I know in my schedule what it is that I'm doing. But it's really helped me to stay on track, because then I can go and check, did I do the things that I said I was going to do? And then there's a weekly check-in too, where it's like my wins for the week, and then what do I want to achieve next week, and then who did I connect with, and what are my next steps now that I've connected with those people. And then also I have a space for some notes and inspirations. But yeah, after starting to take this course, they had something set up similar to this, but it was like rip out the piece of paper, and then I had all these random pieces of paper, and it was driving me nuts. So because I'm creative and I know how to publish on Amazon, I just designed a book and published it, so that it's my little like inevitable success journal where I keep doing tiny steps each and every day, and that will get me to my goals. And so it's been inspiring to do that. And I've always done similar things to this, where I write lists and stuff like that, but never been so intentional about it. And the intention about it has really helped me.
I love what you were saying about sharing with your students. Here's the resource to find out. Go sort it out. And I think that is key and important thing to remember, that as a teacher, you don't need to know it all. You don't need to be the one that says to them, well, you've got to do this, 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 and teach them everything about it. But actually giving them the resources to go and find out. You just start the ball rolling, and you empower them to actually find out for themselves. You've given them the basics of being able to read and understand, the skills of being able to make notes, write, and inquire and ask questions, but actually then following that through. Following instructions is another key one, because obviously there are steps to follow when in these resources that you've sent them to. And if you've given them those basic skills and gone, here you are, that is tremendous, because that empowers them to then think, oh, I've done that. And they'll keep on enhancing those skills. And so I think, yeah, that is a misconception as a teacher. We need to know how to do it to be able to tell them how to do it. No, so I think that's a great thinking there, Amanda, and a great approach to that is really important. And certainly that idea about writing a book, I need to know everything I'm going to write before I start. Well, that stops you in its tracks, doesn't it? And I know, yes, that's great. Yeah, let's just get started and let it open up, and then just create that plan and idea and move from there. So I think something that one of the quotes I wrote down today, which was one from Oprah Winfrey, and she said, the key to realizing a dream is to focus not on success but on significance, and then even the small steps and little victories along your path will take on greater meaning. I did have to look up that word significance, because I wasn't quite sure how it meant in that context. But you know, it's looking at, so not focusing on your success all the time, but well, your actions you're taking, maybe what significance are they going to have? How important are they? What are the consequences of the actions you're going to take? And so maybe looking at it in that way, it's like significance. It's something which matters, the extent to which something matters. And so I was just saying, looking at meaning of that word. So maybe have a think about that quote, and how can you shift your thinking? Are you always thinking and focusing on success, or are you maybe focusing on, well, this action I'm taking, what's the importance of it? What's next? What is important that I do? And so something about significance. So that's something to think about and ponder on, I think. I'd like to leave you with.
Any words of
Amanda?
encouragement, Amanda?
I think just start holding yourself accountable, or find someone who's going to hold you accountable, like a coach or a friend, where it's like, okay, we're going to be accountable to each other to do this work each and every day, because that's when you're really going to achieve what it is that you want to achieve, and to really follow your passions, not somebody else's. Because if someone had said, oh, you're going to be a chef, I'd be like, no. I don't like cooking. That's not my thing. So it really is being true to yourself and what your gifts are, because what you're interested in, what you could spend hours and hours doing without thinking about it, is very different than what other people spend hours and hours doing without thinking about it. And for me, drawing and creating is something that I love to do, but giving somebody else a pencil, they'd be like, it'd give them an anxiety attack because they don't like drawing. But maybe they love to bake, right? And so it really is following what's uniquely you, and to just start.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And holding yourself accountable, Amanda, is very, very important. And create good habits that will get you there, and get rid of, work on your bad habit and be away in the present moment. And basically enjoy it. Even if things don't go according to plan that day, try to enjoy it, celebrate you, and until you get there. Thank you so much. We are here Monday to Friday at Ngozi Talk Shows, 1 p.m. UK time. And I don't think we're broadcasting on YouTube because it doesn't look like YouTube is working. I don't know why. So I will have to upload the video. Even yesterday, it didn't go live. So I don't know why. So thank you so much, everyone, and live with grace.